Ever heard of the bicycle kick? What if I told you the man credited with inventing it, a player Pell himself looked up to, is almost forgotten today? Let's turn back the clock and talk about the incredible story of Leônidas da Silva, the original black diamond of Brazilian football. Born in Rio de Janeiro in 1913, Leônidas grew up in a Brazil where football was becoming a national obsession, but opportunities for black players were scarce and fraught with prejudice. From the dusty streets, his talent was undeniable. He was a human highlight reel before the term even existed. Small in stature, but a giant in skill. He possessed blinding speed, superhuman agility, and a flair for the dramatic that captivated everyone who watched him. He started his professional journey with clubs like São Cristóvão and Vasco da Gama, quickly making a name for himself. But it was with the Brazilian national team, the Seleção, that Leônidas truly became a legend. Picture this, the 1934 World Cup in Italy. Brazil was still a developing football nation. Leônidas scored their only goal of the tournament, a brilliant solo effort that gave the world a glimpse of what was to come. 4 years later, at the 1938 World Cup in France, Leônidas exploded onto the global stage. This was his tournament. He was simply unstoppable. In the opening match against Poland, a chaotic 6-5 thriller played on a muddy pitch. He scored a hat-trick. Legend has it that at one point he lost a boot in the thick mud and scored one of his goals barefoot. Can you even imagine that today? This one act perfectly summed up his spirit. Pure, unadulterated passion for the game, no matter the conditions. He finished the tournament as the top scorer with 7 goals, earning the Golden Boot and the nickname Black Diamond from the mesmerized French press. But here's where the story takes a controversial turn. Brazil reached the semi-finals against the reigning champions, Italy. In a decision that still baffles football historians, the Brazilian coach decided to rest Leônidas, saving him for the final. It was a fatal miscalculation. Brazil lost 2-1. Though they went on to win the third-place match against Sweden, with Leônidas scoring another 2 goals. The what-if of that semi-final hangs forever over Brazilian football history. What if the Black Diamond had played, and then there's the bicycle kick, or the bicicleta as it's known in Brazil. While its exact origin is debated, Leônidas is the player who perfected it and brought it to the world's attention. He didn't just use it as a desperate, last-ditch effort. He turned it into a genuine attacking weapon. He would launch his body into the air, seemingly defying gravity, and connect with the ball with acrobatic precision. For fans in the 1930s and 40s, it was like watching something from another planet. He made the impossible look routine. Back in Brazil, his club career was just as spectacular. He became an icon at Flamengo, one of Brazil's biggest clubs, where he formed a legendary attack and further cemented his status as a national hero. The crowds adored him. He was more than a player. He was an entertainer, a pioneer who broke racial barriers with every dazzling dribble and acrobatic goal. He later moved to São Paulo FC, where he continued to work his magic, leading them to multiple championships and becoming the club's greatest idol of that era. His arrival literally transformed São Paulo into a powerhouse. First, his peak was before the era of widespread television. Most of his magic exists only in grainy newsreels and the vivid accounts of those lucky enough to see him play. Second, World War II cancelled the World Cups of 1942 and 1946. Robbing Leônidas of the chance to showcase his talent in his absolute prime on the world stage once more. After retiring from football, he didn't fade away. He became a respected radio commentator and sports journalist, his voice becoming as famous as his feet once were. He was a bridge from the old era of football to the new, a living link to the very roots of Brazil's Joga Bonito style. Leônidas da Silva wasn't just a footballer, he was a revolutionary. He was the first global black superstar in football, a beacon of hope and a symbol of defiance in a world rife with prejudice. He showed that brilliance and artistry on the pitch knew no color. He laid the foundation upon which players like Pelé would build their own legends. Pelé himself once said, "For me, he was the greatest player of all. He was my idol." So the next time you see a player score a spectacular overhead kick, remember the man who turned it into an art form. Remember the barefoot goal in the mud. Remember the original black diamond, Leônidas da Silva, a true pioneer whose legacy shines on, even if his name isn't always in the headlines. His story is a powerful reminder that some of the greatest chapters in football history were written long before the modern era. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into football's past, don't forget to like, share it, and subscribe for more stories about the beautiful game's forgotten heroes. See you next time.